Howdy ho, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to Comics Elite. I'm Sean,
This is Drew.
and we are going to do our skip it's and meh. Like, they're not bad, they're not great, they're just kind of meh. Probably another 35 book week, pretty much. So here, in case you didn't know, we read 90% of the books that come out every single week. I would say every single one, but there's some we just either completely don't interest us whatsoever, and I just can't force myself to read them anymore.
Or go back to read the previous issues just to read the one that came out this week.
Yeah. Or sometimes maybe we just got shorted something at the store and we don't have it to do a review for it. So that happens sometimes too. But we are very prideful of the fact, and we like to kind of boast a little bit about the fact that we try to give you the most comprehensive, honest look of comics that release every week on YouTube, and you get two different opinions. I am much more spec focused. We're both very story driven, of course. And sometimes me and Drew have completely opposite views on books. You guys love when we argue about stuff. Sometimes we surprise each other by stuff that we liked. Sometimes we surprise each other with stuff that we didn't like. So let's just get right to it. So we're going to start with our mez for the week. There's kind of a lot of mez.
Yes. I had a lot of mez.
I had a lot of mez too. So let's just kind of get started, right? Yes. These are no particular order. They're just all meh-y all over the place, right?
But if we have the same ones, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So you go and drive the boat, man, like usual. See what you got.
Here we go. I'll go first. Black Manta, #1.
Okay. I have that as a meh. Yep, there it is.
This really teetered on the edge of being a recommend and a meh for me.
Yeah, me too. I literally just bumped it from my top 10 because there's a book I forgot to read. I read it. It just bumped it out of my top 10.
The art is okay. The action is decent. The story is kind of confusing with gods and stones. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that.
I felt like I missed an issue before this.
Yes. Exactly.
I kind of felt like, but I'm glad at the same time, I'm glad they didn't beat me up with a pre-story that didn't need to be there. I really did.
Yeah, and the one thing that kept this as a meh for me was the scene where Black Manta gets hit in the face. And I don't care. I mean, if you know Black Manta, if he gets hit in the face, it doesn't matter who you are. You're fired. You're dead. It doesn't matter. No one is just walking away. Yes, when she smacks him right across the face.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
They made it a point early in the issue that he was just murdering indiscriminately. There were people, they stood in his way. He didn't care. He just killed them, which is par for the character.
Yes.
And I think they did that intentionally, right? The reason he didn't kill her is it showed the value he has to her, right? So I think that's building towards something, because she didn't give any F's about him. She talked back. She was very belligerent. She was violent towards him,
which is wrong. If he's the boss, I mean, you kind of don't really. I mean, granted, if he's not right in what he's doing, there's a better way to go about it. There's more constructive way to do it. What
I liked about this is that I feel like Black Manta is more than a one-dimensional character, two-dimensional character. He was just like, me no like Aquaman, me kill Aquaman. Like, that's kind of his thing. And now he's
also been a bounty hunter, a treasure hunter.
Yeah. I like that they are giving him more of that, instead of just I'm here to kill Aquaman. So yeah, it's a solid meh. Yes. It was solid meh. Okay, what else you got?
Next up, I got Joker Puzzle Box.
Okay. That didn't make my mez.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up maybe a shocker for you, because I know you're a big fan of this. But I got Swamp Thing. I know. I'll start.
What?
My same thing with Swamp Thing is this. I'm just not a big Swamp Thing fan. That's why it's a meh for me. I like the story. I feel like I just don't really like Swamp Thing. I'm just going to say it. I know you love Swamp Thing. I just can't get into Swamp Thing. It's just too pontificating for me. It's just too, I'm connected to the green, and it's so, and then he loses his connection and he goes into this weird headspace. I feel like every Swamp Thing story is constantly chasing the pinnacle of when Alan Moore did it, and I just don't like it anymore. But it's not a skip it, because it's a solid Swamp Thing story. This is a really good Swamp Thing series if you like Swamp Thing. I just don't. I'm sure it's in your top 10.
I'll save my thoughts for later.
All right. It's total mad for me. Okay, Joker puzzle box.
So the Joker tells the GCPD tells about the puzzle box and where it possibly came from, involving a black mask and a spot in Russia. And I love the beginning of it. It opened great.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Then it gets to the GCPD to interrogating Black Mask, and it goes on way too long.
Yep.
Way too long.
Way too long.
And it ultimately goes nowhere, I think.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
And so, spoiler alert, this is a skip it for me.
Okay, so I don't blame you for that.
It's a skip it for me. And so we don't drag on in the skip it's.
Yeah.
I skipped it because it drags on. It starts off solid.
Yes,
a good 5-6 pages good, and then it just keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going in the same scene, the same characters. Nothing's happening. They're just kind of doing this talk smack dance back and forth, and then at the end, all these characters are like locked up in the thing together, and I'm just like, this is like, it's ridiculous. Yes. It's laughable. Yes. It's literally laughable. And I'm sorry. No. Yeah, I totally skip it for me.
I can't. No, I can't fault you for that one. Yeah.
Okay, what do you got next?
Deadpool, Black, White, and Blood, number 2.
That's gonna be in my. I think this is probably skip it.
Okay, hey, it's another one. I don't blame you if it was.
Oh yeah, here it is. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a mad because why? I felt like the art inside of it is really solid.
Yes, for all 3 stories. Yes.
Yeah, the art is really good. I just am so over Deadpool. I can't Deadpool anymore.
I will say the one saving grace for this, for me, that made it not a skip it, was the last story by Daniel Warren Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one that has heart to it. It's him talking to Deadpool, Daniel Warren Johnson, saying, I love you so much, Deadpool, but I want to write the best Deadpool story. I want to do you right. How do I do this?
Yeah.
And so talking to Deadpool about, like, how do I do you right? It's great. But
what I wish Deadpool again would be the ultra violent mercenary assassin that had a comedy shtick to him. I feel like he's now 90% comedy shtick, and there's no more murder assassin. Like, Deadpool was based in insane violence.
Yes.
I mean, it was a blood fest. It was crazy. He used to carry out a dead zombie head of himself.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, total skip. Total meh for me. Almost a skip it, but the art was really solid. And that was a very good last story. You're right. Next.
Last Flight Out.
Ooh, no. All right. Well, you know what? Well, I'm going to pick something you probably like too.
Actually, what's that? That is a meh.
Oh, you met a Daredevil?
I threw you a curveball.
Whoa,
how about that?
That's a super curvy curveball.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You made the crap out of that, and you picked the Layfeld cover to med too. I picked the Miles Morales. I feel like Daredevil is so out of character right now in the prison on his throne of wood. Like,
well, and they do explain he's been exposed to the toxin that's making the prisoners go crazy, and they're spreading it in their society. He's creating more prisoners, blah blah blah.
So the ending of this saved it for being a skip it for me, because I am very excited about the Daredevil, Elektra, Typhoon Mary, Bullseye Battle Royal. I think we're about to get.
You almost really don't need to read this issue. It's a wheel spinning in motion issue. It just
We think Daredevil's out of the prison now.
Yeah,
that's what happens. Beats up a guy, gets out of the prison. Yeah. There's a really cool scene of Typhoid Mary wearing something kind of cool, but it was that saved it from being a meh for me. I feel like the story's kind of been stuck in limbo for a few issues, and I'm glad Chip is moving it forward to
its conclusion.
The fight we deserve. Please give us this amazing fight.
His series is wrapping up. So yeah.
I'll start. I have He-Man.
Okay, and I got a Last Flight Out.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, it could be a skip it. So yeah,
I am going to totally disagree with you on Last Flight Out. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll save my thoughts on later. You go ahead, and I'll try not to be mad at you.
So Earth is dead in about 6 years or so, and humanity has already been evacuating Earth in arcs.
2 arcs have already left.
Yes, and if it sounds very familiar, it's because it's almost the exact same setup as the movie 2012, except instead of boat arcs, they're going off in space arcs.
Okay.
And
the premise has been done before.
Yes, and except in this version, humanity is a lot colder and places less value on an individual's life as opposed to the masses, which I don't really like. And that makes you, in my opinion, less human. You're focusing on more than just those around you. And so to me, it's not really original. It's a meh. You may think it's original if you haven't seen 2012, then go for it.
I'll say my thoughts on it later. So the only thing that stopped this from being a skip it for me is I liked the Evil Lynn origin story twist on it that Kevin Smith did. And the cover's pretty damn solid too. This is He-Man, Master of the Universe Revelation #3. Now, I didn't mind the Netflix series. I liked the Netflix series. I liked that it was a whole different take on He-Man. It wasn't just He-Man punching things as much as my inner 12-year-old wanted that. I enjoyed the Netflix series, and I didn't like the first issue of this. I didn't like the second issue. I liked the third issue because we get a cool Evil Lynn kind of backstory. It's not a top 10. It's a meh for me. Okay. All right. Next
up, I got Khazar, Lord of the Savage Land.
Yeah, okay. I have Dead Box.
Okay. I did not read that one.
All right. So Dead Box, you go ahead.
Okay, so Khazar, Lord of the Savage Land #1, this setup is almost the same like X-Men. They're all recently dead, and they're brought back to life and connected to the land and the plants. And I'm reading this, I'm like, this is almost just like X-Men. What's going on right now?
Yeah, very similar.
And the story's more focused on Khazar's son than anything else. The art is meh. It's okay. You could tell it's all digitally drawn. You know, I'm not a big fan of that. It's really sticks out like a sore thumb when you can tell. It's a meh. You may like it. If you're really big on the X-Men being plants now, you may like it.
The X-Men aren't plants now. Your disdain for the X-Men. Careful, your disdain for the X-Men is showing. I love the X-Men. Yeah, so you know what? Hold on. So that's a skip it for me.
Okay.
As soon as she pulls out the techie, the plant technological water
it's just like
fungus suit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not Khazar anymore.
No.
Khazar.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm saying his name wrong. Khazar he's Marvel's Tarzan.
Yeah, he doesn't need.
There's no technology.
There's no super suit. Nothing.
Stop adding technology to him. It doesn't make him more interesting. No. It
turns him into Vixen more or less than anything else.
Well, yeah, he's gonna be like I feel like it's going into like a plant-based Wakanda almost. Didn't like it when the kids fighting a dinosaur and the dinosaur turns into something else. It's kind of like really like cringy again. And yeah, once she put that suit on him, I was like, no, this is not not my Khazar. I didn't like it at all. So Dead Box. Okay, I get the premise of it. It's just not an interesting premise to me. I pushed through the issue 75% of the way through. I just skimmed towards the end. It couldn't keep my attention. It kind of felt like a lot of I know I'm complaining about pacing again. It felt like
it's a legitimate issue in comics.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of comic in one issue, and then when you try to cram too much in there, I don't want to say it's hard to digest, but it's not as significant because you're going through it too quick. So we're introduced to the characters, we're introduced to the Red Box. She gets the movie, and then the thing happens at the end. But it kind of happened. Too much is going on. I didn't feel connected to any of the characters. I wasn't a big surprise that something happened at the end with them. I felt like it was a little bit too much of a stretch. It's just, I will read the next one, but this was a meh for me. It was a total meh for me. Another, that was Russell, not Colin. Sorry.
I got Toxin #1.
Oh, yeah.
It's a meh.
So this is this is gonna be quick for me. Helm Grey Castle. Now, I forgot what's happening in this. I forgot. This is issue 4. I forgot what's happening in it, but I skimmed through it. And even at a skim through, because I tried to read it, but I forgot what's happening in it. So it was hard to stay connected to it. It's still, the art is so good in this. And there were many times, again, I just stopped reading it and I was just enjoying the art.
That's a beautiful cover, too.
And then the art would make me read what's happening because I want to know what's better. So the art really just sucked me into this issue. The art is so good. So good. It's, again, I wasn't even going to read it, but I feel like I need to. I try to read every single thing that I can for you guys, even if, and admittedly, I don't know what's happening in it, so I can't give it a very honest opinion. That's why it's kind of in the middle. But the art's really good, and if you've liked Home Greycastle up to now, you're probably going to love this issue because I enjoyed it as much as I could without having a clue what's happening. And it seems like a very complex, in-depth, rich universe they've created. And I do want to go back and read 1 through 3 again because that's how interested I am in this.
Yeah, it's like a Spanish D&D they've made.
I think so. Yeah, I do want to go back and read the rest of this, get back into it again, because it was looked really good to me again. I think I read issue 1. I just can't remember what happened in it.
I read it too. And I couldn't tell you what happened.
Toxin.
Yeah, this is one. It was in my top 10, but it just steadily got pushed back, and then it's a good read.
It's a pretty good cover.
Yes, it is.
Is that Perio again?
It's by Scan.
Scans. Yeah, okay. Very
this
nice.
Truly felt like a horror comic at parts. And I felt that with better interior artists, it really would have come across as more terrifying.
Okay.
The art on the inside is good, but it's not as good as it could be, in my opinion. So it's Toxin versus Carnage in this issue, and they're battling a Toxin's host mind. Does Carnage take control? I don't know. You have to read to find out. It's a fun read.
So spoiler alert, it made it into my top 10. I agree with you on the interior. It could have, for what was happening.
Yes.
It's very cartoony.
Yes.
And it could have been much more terrifying.
Yes.
Like it could have been much darker. And I don't know how much of that is editorial. I don't know how much of that is artist. I think of Sandoval's artist.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know how much is the artist or it was editorial pushing them in that direction. But I would have liked to see a much more gritty interior on this one.
Absolutely.
Like Sienkiewicz or Perio, if he ever would do interiors. Kind of art, the dark, terrifying art. Okay. Next up,
Infinite Frontier 6.
Okay, I'm gonna match you for that. I'm gonna pick Suicide Squad 7. Yeah. So you guys have known for a while now. I've been a huge fan of Suicide Squad. Oh my lord, it is so good. This one fell into the meh for me. Because there's another one in my top 10.
Okay, good.
that happens in Suicide Squad, and this one was kind of subpar. And man, the ambush bug thing just
love it.
It annoyed me.
I've loved the ambush bug since I was a kid, and he is so well written in this issue. I
agree with you. I probably, and you liked it. It's probably higher up for you because you like ambush bug. Ambush bug is annoying to me. And he felt very out of place for what's been happening in Suicide Squad. I felt like he detracted from the story, how good it is, and the direction it's been going. He doesn't ruin it.
No,
but I felt like he detracted from it for me.
I could see how he would, because he does bring a lot of levity to the issue.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie. To me, like the jokes he's telling, I'm actually laughing. His fourth world joke.
I did LOL once.
Yes,
I totally laughed out loud. In case you didn't know, that's what LOL means.
I LOTI'd multiple times. That's laughing on the inside.
You did.
Yes.
I don't know if I did that. Okay, so Infinite Frontier.
This was pretty much a huge setup issue.
Number 6.
Final issue. Yes.
Yeah, final issue. Yeah.
This is pretty much a setup issue for everything that's going to be happening
in
next
2022.
Year. 2022, yes. And so that's kind of why it's a meh for me. It's just a big setup issue.
Yeah, I got it.
I almost really don't need to read the previous 5 issues to read this.
Yeah, you really kind of don't. Which is, disappointing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because there's some things that are really set up. I'm like, this would be a cool
Yeah,
idea. It's exploring things on these different Earths, but they don't.
It feels like, so this made my top 10. It barely made my top 10. The problem I have with it is it's such a significant issue. It should have had way more weight to it. It shouldn't have been kind of a throwaway issue number 6. This should have been a crossover event in the DC universe between 3 or 4 different titles.
Yeah, and you're bringing in Darkseid. That's a big issue. That's
and it's like a super version of Darkseid.
Yeah,
it's a new version of Darkseid. Yeah. Every version of Darkseid from the multiverse has been combined into one super Darkseid. We've been wondering who this new Darkseid is ever since they did Infinite Frontier number 0 like a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
when we first
started doing this.
Yeah, we first started doing this. Yeah. But I feel like DC's, they're kind of too wrapped up in their own telling the future state story and what's happening, how we get to future state. They didn't have room to give the story the weight that this deserved, in my opinion. And it kind of felt it's a fall by the wayside story when it shouldn't be. With the significance that this has, it needs to have more to it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say right now, I really don't think they know what they want to focus on right now.
Yeah, I would agree. So they do know what they're focusing on, because they're focusing on telling the story of future state coming to be. And they're still trying to give us teasers of like and like more to come. Don't forget, guys. Hey, here's this thing over here too.
Or will it? Because they can write themselves out of this with the Crisis next year. Like things that didn't sell well. Boom, Crisis. Okay.
So before I forget, the thing I did like about this in my top 10, because I will forget by the time we get there. Lots of reference to the original Crisis.
Yes, with Barry, where he winds up.
Infinite Crisis. Yeah. Lots of reference to the first Crisis, the Wolfman Perez Crisis, which was amazing. Probably one of the that's in my top 10 comics you should read.
Read it.
100%. Yeah. The original Crisis that started it, super amazing, crazy good. And I'm excited that they're planning on revisiting that crisis that started the crises, whatever. Okay. All right. Next.
Search for Who, number 1.
So I didn't read that.
This is another one. It got bumped out of my top 10. It was in my top 10, but just got bumped out.
Yeah, I totally missed that one. So
guy returns from deployment, and he learns that his family has been involved in a crime family descended from Russians. And he goes back to find his family origins to settle the old blood debt. And it's a solid first issue. There's nothing wrong with it.
So Aftershock.
Aftershock.
A good. Orlando.
Steve Orlando,
this too.
Yeah.
Orlando also wrote something else we were talking about. Orlando's been all over the place lately.
Yes, he has been. Yeah. He's writing King Grimlock, that Transformer series.
Oh, he is writing that too?
Yep.
Sheesh, this guy. I'm gonna find what else he wrote, because I just looked at it. I just totally lied to you. It'll show up. So I want to read that now. Very cool. War of the Bounty Hunters. I have such a love-hate relationship with this series. I tell you, I have such a love-hate relationship with this series. It is the same problem I say week after week when it comes to these Star Wars titles. There's no consequence to any of their actions because we already know what happens. It's so hard for me to get emotionally invested into characters in between continuity that we already know what happens. We already know what happens in Return of the Jedi. This is supposedly this big, enormous story on how it happens, but we already know what happens. So, Han Solo's here now, and he's here now, and Darth Vader's going to cut him in half if Luke doesn't show up. We know he doesn't cut him in half. Like,
he doesn't?
Yes, shocker, spoiler alert, right? Geez, man. Like,
so you're saying there are films before the prequel?
Imagine that.
1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, blasphemy. I'm trying to get poked in the eye right now. This is just, but the story isn't bad. That's why it's a meh. But it's also a lot of story for a very small, if not no payoff for us emotionally we're connected to the characters, but we already know what happens with the characters. Is like, and they got Charles Soule writing this. I mean, he's one of the best. So it's hard for me, man.
Would you say it's paced for the trade?
No. I feel like again, this issue, so much happens. It probably could have been broken down into two.
Just more or less like we already know where this is going.
Yeah.
What's the point of this?
We already know what's happening. Nothing's going to change. It'd be more interesting if this branched off into an alternate Star Wars universe.
There we go.
Where we get all these different versions of these characters.
When Dash Rendar shows up, let me know. I'll pop in.
Man, like, something happens where like Leia's running down a hallway and she gets shot or something.
Yeah,
like,
they did that with Star Wars Infinities.
Infinities. I like the Elseworld Star Wars, What If Star Wars type series. Yeah, that was really good. It was really good. So anyway, okay, next, moving on. I got 2 more mez left.
I've got 3.
All right, I got X-Force.
Did I? That's my list for later. I've got Army of Darkness, 1979.
Oh, I didn't even read that. Okay, so X-Force, it's not bad. I enjoyed it. It's just not solid enough to be in the top 10 because it got bumped out of my top 10. A lot of Pitor Rasputin going on with this one.
Well, Michael Rasputin.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, Peter is Peter. I'm an idiot. Yeah, Mikhail.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do like what happens with the Beast. Really kind of cool.
I'll say my thoughts for later on that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. We get like, isn't it? It's not Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because we haven't really got to see the Beast really.
No. And
the way we see him, they get us a brief glimpse inside Hank's mind, and it's not a very heroic place.
No, it's not. It's, to me, I'm like, this doesn't sound like Hank.
Yeah, Hank has been through. Oh no, Hank McCoy.
Oh, Hank McCoy. Yeah.
He's been through a lot, and the Beast has definitely changed. And this isn't. If you've been reading X-Men, it's not a quick change. It's been coming for a while.
Maybe he's turning into the Dark Beast, like Age of Apocalypse.
I was gonna say that's not too far of a reach.
Yeah. The
path that he's been on for a while now. I mean, with X-Force has been very gray as far as our morality anyway, but it's arguably Beast has pretty much stepped over into the black in this one. He's no longer black, white, gray. He's pretty much kind of evil with some of his actions. But anyway,
like a mad scientist.
Yes.
He really,
yes. So Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, 1979, number 1. This was another one. It was in my top 10. It just got edged out. We have more stuff I read. So the opening to this, I did not expect and had to do a double take. So think the old school movie, The Warriors from back in the day.
Yep.
And but this time, with zombies and vampires. And there's a new gang called the Warlocks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
It's just like the Warriors, but with the Army of Darkness elements added to it.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Okay.
And so Ash goes from current day back to 1979 New York, and shenanigans ensue. And Boomstick. Deadites.
So he's New York, 1979.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun issue. Cannot go wrong with it.
I wonder what the significance of that. I mean, obviously it's 1979, but I don't know how that was going to work out. Okay, and my last my last meh is Spider-Man.
Okay. Avengers tech on Avengers.
I'll go to that. That's I don't know. That's a meh for me, or a meh for me too. The reason this is a meh for me is because man, I'm lost for words here. It's kind of cool, but I just can't get into Robot Avengers.
Yes.
So I feel like part of the reason I didn't like it is because of me. However, the interior art is beautiful. It's very well drawn. It's very well colored. It's very enjoyable. It's very pleasant on the eyeballs. So it made my eyeballs happy. And I really didn't read it. I just kind of skimmed it because I just don't care. But the art's beautiful. So, and I actually do kind of like this Momoko cover, actually. I kind of liked it. And the last page of this one's really good. It had me interested to look at the next one. Not going to read the next one. I'm just going to look at it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So what you just said, about this kind of summarizes my thoughts. And it's more or less kind of similar to what you felt about that first Avengers Mech Strike series,
yes.
But as I read, I'm like, this is actually fucking awesome.
Yeah, you got into that Mech Strike.
This, I'm like, I can agree with you. I'm like, this is a complete toy comic right here. This is straight up for Avengers mech suits.
Yeah.
Out of powers, you got to have suits. Okay, here we go. This is the toy comic. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the Target exclusive
Yes.
Walmart variant toy for this one?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So now my last one is Spider-Man.
Last one, I got Kiss.
Oh, I didn't read that either. I'll start with the Spider-Man. So I don't know if I liked it or not.
Oh.
Because I don't know what the hell's going on. I was so lost reading this comic. This is one of those issues where as a reader, I'm just like, spell it out for me. Like, hit me in the head with it. There's so many like, but remember when this happened, it was really this, but then this also was really this. And this time too, I got you with this because this was really that. So this thing that happened was all me. And now this person is this, but maybe it's really that, but it's really this other thing. And I'm just going, what the F are you talking about? Can you just tell me what's happening? Who is this person? Is Kindred Harry or not? Or is Kindred this other thing? But and who is Computer Harry is not the other Harry that's in the morgue, that's dead Harry, that's standing next to a live Harry, and Harry's not. Oh my God, I don't understand what's happening. Just wrap up the story and tell me.
I have a good feeling I understood what happened. I can probably try to explain it to you when I talk about it later.
I mean, hey, maybe I'm the idiot that can't follow along with the comic book story. Kind of feel like it's not the case, but if maybe it's me and I just missed something, maybe you got to have a history lesson in Spider-Man mythos to understand what's happening in this. Like if you didn't read every issue of Spider-Man that had to deal with Harry and Norman, you're going to be lost.
Like specifically stuff like 10 to 15 years ago when J. Michael Straczynski was writing it. That's when it kind of focuses on.
But I love that stuff. Like
that's the big plot point in this.
Okay, but I right over my head. I read the whole thing. I was enthralled. I read a couple pages twice because I don't know what the hell's happening. Somebody spell it out for me. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm lost. Okay, go with your Kiss.
And nothing wrong with it at all. It's okay. It's decent. Art is meh. This multi-billionaire has them trapped on an island. He discovers that the Kiss has God particles in them, and he wants to steal it from them. And chaos ensues. Yeah, it's okay. It's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're 30 minutes in. Wow. Let's get to our skip-its. Skip-its. I have a few skip-its, guys, and I'm a little mad about some of these skip-its. I got to tell you. I'm a little perturbed.
Yeah, I got 5.
Champions.
Suicide Squad, get Joker, number 2.
Okay, so I didn't have a chance to finish reading this, but it would have been a meh. I was halfway through it. It would have been a meh. So I'm actually making a skip it. Champions. I feel like this is written for 9-year-olds. It probably is.
Probably is.
I can't. I just can't. I can't. I can't even read it. I can't. Give me an interesting adult story about these characters, and I'm all in. Give me a Nova. Nova is a cosmic entity. Why is he screwing around with Miss Marvel and Miles? I don't know. Because they're all BFFs. Yeah. Doesn't he have a cosmic responsibility out there he needs to be cosmicing responsibility-ing about? I don't know. Okay, go out with your Joker.
So, really, outside of the scene with Harley riding a stripper pole, this is completely forgettable and skippable.
Now, and I got a problem with that.
Okay.
This is Black Label.
Yes.
She would have at least been topless.
Yes. Yeah.
They PG-13'd it down. And some editor somewhere probably told them you can't have Harley naked on the stripper pole. They had a couple of very raunchy moves in there.
Yes, they did.
She's got her she's spread eagle in front of a guy and she's putting money right there and just show it.
Yeah. Show it.
Someone at DC somewhere. Sorry, who wrote this again?
Brian Azzarello. Yeah.
Mr. Azzarello. I'm if you tried to write her as being naked like she would have been and some editor stopped you, then I feel bad for you and F that editor. If you didn't try to do the right thing and make her naked like she should have been because someone got burned from the bat wiener, then shame on you.
And what's the point of Black Label?
What's the point of Black Label? Yeah. If she would have been doing that and she was not a willing participant, There's already some pretty dark material they're covering there. She would have been naked.
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
don't even need just at least top off. And I'm not some creepy guy that needs to see Harley's boobs. I mean, go to my website and you'll see plenty of that stuff of covers we saw from Harley Finn. Like,
I mean, we can see her,
it's just it's ribbon in reality. If in reality, I thought the same thing. I was like, she would have had her bazooms out by now.
To me, it's pretty boring and bland, and the action scenes by Alex Maleev are very stiff in this because there's one laughably bad action scene at the very end of this. I laughed out loud. I'm like, Alex, this is wrong, man. You got to fix this.
And the big splash page reveal at the end was kind of boring.
Yes,
super lackluster.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, skip it. Next, skip it.
Oh, I got last book you'll ever read. Number Dose.
I don't know where that is.
In your top 10?
Oh, it is.
Oh,
that's right. Okay, so Star Wars Bounty Hunters Adventures, number whatever the hell it is.
9.
Number 9. Again, it's written for kids, and I just can't. Don't even bother, guys. You're gonna be bored out of your mind. Nothing happens. It's super boring. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Go ahead.
Last book you'll ever read, number 2. So I really, really, really don't understand the plausibility of this comic. If you think critically for a few minutes, why with all of the authors on the planet is all of civilization giving this woman this amount of validation to her writing? I mean, literally, and even from the boomsticks of nowhere, Texas and Kentucky to New York City, everyone's giving her this amount of plausibility, and validation to her book. She's just some jackass millennial writer who is surprised when she has violent protesters at her book readings.
I must have missed that in the book where the whole world was giving her this amazing amount
let's go back
of
to issue 1.
credibility.
That goes back to issue 1.
Isn't this issue 1?
No, 2.
Oh. I literally thought I was reading in issue 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to say it again. My thoughts on this are the exact same. Go watch the movie In the Mouth of Madness. It is much better. Much more plausible. You find that hard to believe.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't agree with you on that one. Okay. All right. This is just kind of an honorable mention for me. Gold Digger has a coloring book. Guys, if you read Gold Digger, it's super basic art. If you really want to color Gold Digger, then go for it. But this came out this week. It was on the table. If you want to go for it, go for it. Up to you. Okay, next, skip it.
Excalibur 23.
Yep. I'll keep it super short. I hated it.
Yes, I hated it. This was a complete waste of Dr. Doom.
I hated it. I hated it.
Yes.
It was so boring.
Just walking around through New Avalon. Just
boring location.
Yes.
Dr. Doom wouldn't have done half the shit that he did. And
they're just all walking and talking in every damn page. That is it.
Yeah. So, Snorefest.
Yes.
Save yourself. Save yourself.
Save yourself the $3.99.
Just save yourself. Period. Save yourself. Yeah. What else you got, homie?
Justice League Infinity, number 3.
Okay, I didn't read that either. I have Conan.
What?
So the Sumerian has ruined Conan for me forever.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I couldn't get into any of these stories. I could not get into any one of them. The one where he's drunk the whole time, I thought was super boring and stupid.
That was the one weak point of the whole book. And that was Dan Slott. But I'll save my thoughts for later on. Okay.
I just couldn't. The cover's really cool. That's it. I love the Sumerian. I can't get into Conan anymore. I just can't. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was super boring. I kept wanting to go read the Sumerian. Yeah, 100%. Okay, go for it.
The Justice Leaguers are being swapped out by other versions of themselves and transported to alternate Earths. It's mostly interpersonal drama and very little action. A lot of talking about their feelings to one another. Not crazy about it.
I don't know how I missed this one, but I don't think I was impressed with the first two.
No,
so
it wasn't that good. The first one wasn't that good.
Maybe I subconsciously missed it on purpose.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
All right, next, skip it.
My last one, I'm dropping the hammer on this one.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
I got the main Batman fan site in agreement with me on this.
Uh-oh, go for it.
Batman 112.
Okay. So I already talked about Khazar. It's terrible. So hold on, let me save you guys some time. We talked about Joker Puzzle Box.
Mm-hmm.
It's super boring, and the ending is laughable. Hold on.
But wait, there's more.
Dr. Afra. I feel like it's patronizing to me as an adult reading a comic that I used to like. And I feel like now it's written for children. It's uneventful and boring and stupid. And nobody should read this comic anymore until they make it not for 12-year-old girls. Unless you're a 12-year-old girl. And lastly, I have The Me You Love in the Dark.
Not Scotty Young, the greatest writer in the planet.
So Scotty Young can write. I loved his Adventureland comic. Amazing. Greta goes to Adventureland, and she stays trapped in time in a little kid's body. She's like a 32-year-old woman in a little girl's body.
Oh, is that the I Hate Wonderland?
I Hate Wonderland.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
No,
I butchered it.
I
butchered it. Okay. Loved it. I love what Scotty's written many other times. It's been really good. I liked I'm totally brain fried. I should not do these at the end of the day, but I have no choice. What the hell is it called? Middle West.
Yeah.
Like that a lot. This book is probably the most boringest comic he's ever written. She connects with the ghost. I just summarized the entire book for you. She connects with the ghost. There's so many pages of just empty house being drawn. It's such a waste. Oh my God. Slowest story ever. The last page is interesting, but did you need to beat us up with an entire we got the inside of a house for an entire issue of a house? Oh, so boring. Okay, go ahead about this.
I'm dropping the hammer on this. So right. I read through this comic 3 times, trace times, and each and every single time I said to myself, did I just get punked? Each time. Okay. I read through this back and forth 3 different times. And it's comforting to know that Josh McDonald at BatmanNews.com agrees with me. This issue was a complete waste. Bamboozled and hoodwinked reading this issue. There is nothing new in this comic from Fear State Alpha or in Batman 112. Just Batman escaping and getting caught up on what's going on. That is it. This is a completely skippable this is
Batman 112.
112, yes. And it's turning into Sinister War 2.0 right now at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't agree with you at all on that one. Okay, so that's our Skibbits and Mez. We're 42 minutes in.
It's usually 45. Guys, that's good.
Yeah. So hey, we reread all the books and we give you an honest opinion on them. Thanks for watching. I'm giving away all my Skibbits and Mez. Whoa. All of them. Yes, this whole stack is going to be marked giveaway. I'm going to do it right now.
Oh, you're packing. Oh,
yes, God. The whole thing. Tell them what they got to do, Drew, in order to win.
Be sure to type in your like number and tell us what you look forward to this week, what you didn't like this week, and just tell us Sean's wrong, I'm right, or I'm wrong, Sean's right. Just message your like number and something about about the video. That's all you got to do. And please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. It's somewhere down there usually, and we'll see you guys here again. And
do all the things. All the things, guys. We like to read the comments. Appreciate it. You know what to do. Buy what you like. Collect what you want. Listen to the haters. And we'll see you in our next video here in a little bit.